but the thing I hate
What do you hate
is
about
that
it?
half of the things don't transfer. You're like, oh no, it's so much easier, so easy. And you put the new chip in and boom, bing, bang, boom. Yeah, except that
Did you do the
half
scanny thing?
scanny thing.
Yeah. What you got a new iPhone, right? So you went from iPhone to iPhone. Yeah, they
Yeah.
have this thing that you do with I don't know how this works because I'm not a programmer, but it's kind of amazing. So it's like this little orb-looking thing on the new phone or the old phone, one of the two, I can't remember. And I think it's on the old phone, and then you scan with your camera on the new phone that orb, and it just somehow transfers all the apps and everything to your new
Well,
phone.
I mean, I transferred the SIM card, but the problem is the controls on the new phone are not the same as the controls on the old phone because they
Yeah.
had to change it. They had to make it different. So now I can't find, like, for instance, if I want to shut it, take it off of Wi-Fi and make it shut up.
In your top right corner, if you swipe down, you'll get the little Wi-Fi buttons and whatnot.
All right, I did it. I just did that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
I'm here
just put
for
it
you.
on airplane mode so it will not ring while
Yeah.
we're on the phone, on the radio here. All right, welcome. Talking about my stuff. Yeah, all right. So what are we going to do today? What do we got to talk about? Generation Fright, raising fearful kids. Yes, no. What do you think? We've got some news for you, and I've got a question about you guys. What did you give this nation for its birthday? We've got all that and more after Zach plays the intro music.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I liked the old phone with the thumb pad. I liked that one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take you a little bit to get used to the new one.
I like.
I forgot you had one of the old ones with the thumbprint thing.
Yeah, because the new ones are like, oh, we're going to do a face recognition. No, you're not.
It takes
You're not
a little
putting
bit.
my face in 10 million in a database. No,
Oh, it's already there.
it's not going to be. In
You
that
live
one.
stream 4 times a week onto Facebook. It's there.
I'm going to start wearing a mask. Does he wear a mask? I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we got some good news on Wednesday. I don't have enough time in this show to talk about that, so we'll talk on it on Wednesday. But let's go ahead and jump right into the news. The news and the news.
Is it new news?
It's new news. All of you fans of Nicholas Orr, the fiction writer, that's right, the author of The Operator, the action adventure, the adventure romance novel. He has completed The Operator Book 2, and it is going to be available for purchase on Monday, July 6th, 2020. So if you look at your calendar and it's either today is that day or you're in the future. If you're already in the future, then it's available for purchase on Kindle and paperback. I know a lot of you fans of Nicholas Orr have been waiting, some of you not so patiently, for the book 2 to come out of the series, and it's out. So there you go.
By the way, I need to check on somebody and make sure they got their thing.
Yeah, somebody, the person we were talking about in that person, the strong person, strong person is a mongoloid, because Nicholas Orr sent that strong person a PDF for his wife to read.
Oh, that strong person.
That strong person lost it.
Oh, okay. I just asked, did she get her fix? And
No, he somehow lost the PDF.
yeah.
He's like, oh, I either didn't get it or I lost it. I'm like, what? Do I need to get a 14-year-old to come over there and run your email for you? So, but now we're at the point where it's just going to be available anyway. So now it's kind of one of those ones like, wow, what's the point of doing that? So anyway, speaking of the internet and using the internet to our advantage, if you guys remember Full30.com? the alternative to YouTube when it comes to gun stuff. You don't have to worry about YouTube waking up one morning and saying, "We don't like you." Boop, your channel is gone. And we all know that that's happened. It's happened to several people. I mean, I know there's still some there, but I mean, it happened to James. I think Jerry Mikulik, I think one day he woke up and his channel was just like locked or frozen or something.
Ready Man recently got canned. The channel is gone now.
YouTube?
Hundreds and hundreds of videos with, hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views just gone.
Oh, it happened to that giant dude. What's the Hickok dude?
Yeah.
Dude,
I think he's back up there, but he was down for like 2 days or something.
Yeah, they was just,
Hey, Harry's here.
Hey, Harry. All right. And Brownells. You remember when they did that to Brownells? They just arbitrarily shut their channel off. It's back now, but they arbitrarily shut it off. So the point is this. We all know that Google owns YouTube and that they're in California and they don't like guns or gun people. They like money, but they don't like guns and gun people. So eventually they're just going to figure that they can get more money somewhere else and screw these Second Amendment people. They're violating our community standards by talking about constitutional rights. So where are we going to go?
We're doubling down on Full 30 is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're actually doubling down on Full 30. So if you haven't gone to full30.com, that's FULL30.com. Student of the Gun has a channel there, and you should subscribe to us. Subscribe to the channel. If you go to the over on the left-hand side, it says channels. Click. You scroll down, and you'll find our logo there, our icon.
Zach, if you do me a favor, drop that link into the comments. There's a link directly to a video.
There's
a recent
a
video.
Link.
It's a pretty good one.
Yep. There's a direct link to my first shotgun. That's right. And I'd like for you guys to have that and share it with people that need to know and all that good stuff.
Pew
So.
pew.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the. I've got a question for the Warrior of the Week.
You have a question? That's not how we usually do it.
Well,
but this is a
we're gonna do
unique
it today.
occasion.
Boom, 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 boom. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So my question, we don't have a question this week. We don't have a question to share with you guys. If you like, well, I have a question. Like, all right, well, what are you doing? Call 844-207-7684 and leave a clear and concise question. There you go. And maybe you can hear your voice on Student of the Gun Radio on Monday. What gift did you give to the United States of America for its birthday? Now, on Friday, the 3rd, we talked on bonus hour number 2 for the grad program. We talked in detail about the United States of America.
People that are listening or watching live are like, what is going on in this weird time warp?
Well, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Today is episode number 966, which will go to the world on 7/6/20. If you're lucky enough to be here early, congratulations to you. So we talked at length on Friday's show on the bonus hour. And if you're not a part of the grad program and you don't get the bonus hours, well,
you can
should
join
sign up for that.
easily.
You probably should do that. What gift did you give to the United States of America for its birthday? Okay. I'll tell you what gift I gave to the United States of America for its birthday. Well, number one, we did a grad program version, and we talked during the bonus hour about the founding, about the history, about the political thought, and we had quotes from the founding fathers. And it's extremely important that we teach our children why the United States of America is a good thing, how it got to be. You cannot see this is, and I believe, and this is going to go into the next part, but when it comes to the United States of America, liberty, representative republic, all that, you cannot assume that your kids will just understand, because they'll learn it in school, won't they? Will they? Will they learn all about inalienable rights? Will they learn all about, the founding and what led up to the founding? And that's part of the problem that we have, I believe, in our culture, is we spend a lot of time talking about the 4th of July, right? But nobody says, well, how do we get to that point? What led up to it? Was a bunch of dudes, just got together in Philadelphia on the 4th of July and says, hey, I got an idea. Sam Adams is like, hey, what are you guys doing? They're like, I don't know, we're not doing anything. You guys want to have your own country? Oh, yeah, I guess so, sure. All right, cool. We got our own country now. Well, let's go outside and tell everybody. That's not how it happened. There was a lot going on in the nation before the 4th of July, 1776. And what most people, Jared, how many people do you think realize that we were involved in a shooting war on July 4th, 1776?
I would hope most people, but I probably not.
You'd hope. You're like, oh yeah, of course we know that. I mean, we'd been in a shooting war since April 19th, 1775. Over a year. We'd been exchanging bullets with the home country, with the troops of the home country, for over a year. What? I'm sad to think that a lot of people who inhabit the United States probably think that the Revolutionary War started the day after the Declaration of Independence. I fear that is the case. Or like, yeah, well, we had Declaration of Independence, and we're like, now we're going to have a war for independence, and a year later it was over, and we said, woohoo, we won. No. 1776 was a suck for as far as this country was concerned. By December of 1776, we were hurting. That's why Thomas Paine wrote the Crisis. That's when he wrote. He delivered that in 1776. These are the times that try men's souls, right? The Crisis. And you say, well, wouldn't the Crisis from Paine, didn't he do that before the Declaration of Independence? And then because everybody thinks, because we celebrate the birth of our nation, and we say that the 4th is the birthday, right? So everybody thinks that everything that happened after was rah, right? It was like, look at us, woohoo, we're excited, yay! Everything is all peaches and cream, and it's all wonderful, right? No, actually, things got in the United States of America, the newly formed United States of America. After July 4th, things got progressively worse. They didn't get progressively better. By December 23rd, 1776, when Tom Paine did the original Crisis, these are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. You guys remember that? You say, why would he have to write that if we had the Declaration? I mean, we did it. We signed it. We sent it to the king. We're like, right there, buddy. How you like those apples? He didn't like those apples. Believe it or not. King George didn't like those apples. And he's like, well, I'm going to send a bunch of Hessians with big, tall hats. And they're going to do bad things to you.
Tall hats.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's like, I got a bunch of mercenaries with tall hats, and they're going to put you peasants back in line.
That's pretty funny.
So I fear that the posterity that we've talked about doesn't understand that. It doesn't understand why it was so important, and why inalienable rights are so important, and why individual liberty is so important, and why it's important to celebrate that. Because this experiment in self-government is unique in the history of planet Earth. So the gift that I gave to the country Well, I mean, I guess we gave it an early birthday gift when we released the Legion of Michael book and Legion of Michael training. This weekend, I worked diligently on a new book. It is heretofore, I haven't finished the title yet, but essentially it is a follow-up to the original Patriot Fireteam manual. It's going to be a guns and gear guide, a very specific, detailed guns and gear guide for Patriot Fireteam. And what is a Patriot Fireteam, Jared? What is the simple...
It's a neighborhood watch with rifles.
Bingo. It's like neighborhood watch with rifles, man. You know, people are like, well, I don't get this, Patriot. What is that all about? I don't get it. It's like, say, you know what a neighborhood watch is? Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Well, think of those neighborhood watch with rifles. Like, oh. So instead of just radios, they have rifles. Think of all the other directions that gangbangers would fornicate if the neighborhood watch had rifles. You're right. You want to clean up Chicago? You want to clean up Detroit? You want to clean up Philadelphia? Start a neighborhood watch program and make sure everyone has a rifle. Oh, you can't do that. That would offend the sensibilities of the gangbangers. It would make them feel bad. That's the point. It would intimidate them. You would look intimidating. That's the point. Yes. The whole point is to look intimidating. Kids today. So I guess what I'm going to ask you guys out there is, what gift did you give the US of A for its birthday? And if you had not given it a gift, if you were selfish and just gave gifts to yourself, it wasn't your birthday, freak. It was the country's birthday. So it's okay, though. You can give the country a belated birthday gift. I will give you permission right now. You are welcome. All right, Jared, do you want to thank the top 10 contributors to the public group?
Yes, I would love to do that. And I'm looking at the list here, and I don't see any new names, so I have a challenge for those of you that are in the group but are not on this list. Bump yourself up here. I would love to see some new names in here. And if you're not part of the Student of the Gun Public group, you can do so by joining Student of the Gun Public group on Facebook, or you can jump into the Student Lounge. If you go to studentofthegun.com, click the login button, and if you're not a member there, you can do the sign up stuff and whatever. But so the two main places for the public group are Facebook and the Student Lounge, which is a private community of like-minded individuals. I'm pulling this information from Facebook because they make it easy for me to find. Number 10 is Andrew Ketz. 9, Janine Clark Wilson. 8 is Adam Montgomery. 7, Steve Bergantis. 6 is Derek Babcock. 5, Jeremiah Mason. 4 is Andrew Reinert. 3, Daniel Larson. 2 is Melissa Ridings. And number 1 is still the
heavyweight champion of the world.
Trent Wood.
Trent Wood is still the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yep. And the way to climb up the ladder is to comment on other people's posts, but also sharing your own thoughts on posts. Like a lot of people share links and they share information in the group. Adding your own thoughts to that will bump you up as well.
There you go. We actually kicked some serious butt on the fascist book. I was actually looking at the insights, and this is a credit to you guys. If you folk out there follow us on socialist media, good job. We're not the biggest. We don't have the biggest site. We don't have the highest population or the most likes or follows or whatever. But compared to one site that's 20 times the size of us, we have a greater engagement. And that means, well, what does that mean, Paul? What does greater engagement means? It means that you, all of you freaks out there watching me wave my hand at you right now, all of you freaks actually are engaged. And so it's more important, at the bottom line, at the end of the day, it's more important to have a small number of truly engaged people who are paying attention than a million drive-bys that just like, yeah, I gave it a like and I never went back there again. And that's, I mean, that's kind of the way the world is. And so when we talk to people who are like, well, yeah, you only have 100,000 some, followers on your thing. And we're like, yeah, but our followers are dudes. Or dudettes. They're serious people. They're serious people. Thank you to all of you guys out there who are following us. I know that social media sucks, but it's a necessary evil until we can get a social media platform going on full 30 like Fascist Book. We just have to use the enemy's tool against them. All right, Duracoat, because life is too short to what?
Have an ugly gun.
Ugly gun.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
I think we were both
Thank
waiting
you,
for the
Mr.
other one to pick that up.
Huh?
I think we were both waiting for the other one to pick it up.
I dropped it out there. It's not for me to pick up.
I
But
meant
thank
like
you,
Jared
Mr.
and I.
Garrison. Thank you, Mr. Garrison. All right, Duracoat is, well, they have more colors than you have imagination. Close your mind. Close your eyes. Don't close your mind. Close your eyes. Think of a color. All right, open your eyes. Duracoat has that color. If you want a gun to be that color, you can do it. Go to DuracoatFirearmFinishes.com so you can not have an ugly gun or an ugly anything else. They can help you out. Crossbreed holsters, they'll help you be dangerous on demand. I'm wearing one right now. I was wearing a gun. See, I live in free America, like free America. You're like, I live in free America too. Now I live in the free America where it's okay to just walk around with a gun, and nobody urinates down their leg. And it's I live in an area where if you don't have a gun on, people are like, why would you not? Are you from California or something? Are you visiting here from California? Is that why you don't have a gun on? Yeah, so when the handyman showed up this morning, I was on the porch reading a book, and I got my Crossbreed holster on. I got my Reckoning on. I got my Glock 48 in it. And he's like, hey, man, what's up? I'm like, hey, what's up? He didn't even cry or pee or anything. He's just like, most of the time, the reaction I get is people are like, oh, what are you carrying, man? Is that the new Glock? I'm like, yes, it is. And they're like, oh, man, you like it? And, oh, I heard about that. Yeah. If you'd like to do that, either conceal it or don't conceal it or whatever, you want to be dangerous on demand, go to Crossbreed Holsters. And while you're there, use the promo code SOTG18, save some money, be a happy camper. There you go. All right, Brownells, they've got all kinds of stuff for patriots and like-minded individuals. Check those guys out at brownells.com. Sign up for their newsletter so you don't miss their specials, sales, and all that. And what do we know in the current climate about the availability of stuff? What do we know about that, Jared?
It's you better get it while you can. If it's there, get it.
Yeah, it comes and goes. They will get a shipment in from a manufacturer. They put it on the website, and everyone's like, ooh, Mr. Cotter, I want one. And then you go back a week later, and you're like, hey, how come it's sold out, man? Like, because everybody else in America was waiting for it too. And that, I actually talked to a friend of mine the other day who was in the custom rifle building game, right? He builds custom rifles to order for people. And he told me, he said, we're back there again where now we've got holdups. Like if I can get a stock, I'm like, okay, cool. Stocks are shipping, got the stock. Oh crap, barrels are all back ordered. Can't get a barrel. All right. Okay, barrels finally came in. Bolt carriers and bolts. Oh, the bolts are back ordered, or bolt carrier groups are back ordered. We saw this during the Obama administration, and we're seeing it again. Custom rifle builders are bitching because they can't just go and order parts. Now they're having to go and get on a first-come, first-served basis for bolt carriers or barrels or pieces and parts and what have you. So, brothers and sisters, this is my advice to you. If you're looking for something specific, especially like it's from Brownells and it's out of stock or whatever, sign up for their friggin' newsletter so that when it comes back in stock, you're having your morning coffee and you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And don't wait. I mean, you can wait all you want. You're an American. But Don't be bitching. You're like, how come it's all sold out? And someone said to me the other day something about ammo, and they're like, oh, I went and they were sold out, and I was like, hi, welcome to America 2020. Did you just wake up or what? Like, well, I couldn't find any whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's the way it is right now. Welcome to the world of today. One thing that I did not mention, and I will mention real quick, is that my Glock 48 has night vision accurate sights on it. That's right, the brightest freaking tritium sight you're going to be able to buy, because they make the brightest. It's a fact. It's science. And you may not know this, but the Student of the Gun accurate sights are not only available for the Glock 17s and 19s, but they're also available for the 42 and 43, which means what? They're available for the 48 or the 43 X-ray. Yeah, the 43X, because the 42, 43, 43X, and 48 all have the same slide cut. They have the same sight cuts. So, and also if you're a shield guy, if you want to carry a shield, whether it's 9, 40, or 45, the sight cuts on the shields are all the same. So we've got accurates for those. And the P10, the CZ, P10 Charlie, P10C, all you CZ freaks and freakonomics out there, we made them for those too. So check those guys out at Night Vision, Fision, nightvision.com. Right on the front page, it says accurate, Student of the Gun accurate sights. Boom. Click it, order them. Not only are they good and bright, but the fact is they're not a third party. Jared, can we tell insider secrets?
Yes. Maybe.
Okay. Well, here's an insider secret.
No, you can't.
You said, well, I went to Brownells or Midway or anybody, PS Arms or Primary Arms. I went there, and there's lots and lots of companies making tritium sights, right? So they're all the same. No, they're not, actually. There are 2 companies in the United States that have all of the EPA licensing to store, transport, dispose of, and manufacture tritium products. 2. That means, and one of them is Night Vision, and then there's another one who doesn't sponsor us, so I'm not going to say their name. So that means that every night sight that you buy, that the tritium is installed by one of 2 companies in the United States of America. You're like, oh no, bullcrap, man! My favorite night sights, they make them in their factory. And this is when I say to you, they might make the parts, the steel parts, but it's Night Vision or that other company that installs the tritium. And you say, who cares? Big deal. Well, what happens, Jared, when you have to have a third party get involved in your manufacturing process? Where does your price go?
Up, not down.
It goes up, right? You're like, how come these night sights from this company cost $225 for a set? Because they make the steel, they ship them off to another company, they have them insert the tritium, have them ship them back to them, then they ship them to you. Night Vision is the manufacturer. Everything is done there. So they don't have to involve a third party. And because they don't have to involve a third party, you get the best night sights available in the United States, and you also get them for a cheaper price. What? That's crazy talk. How come? This is when you say, Paul, why did no one else on the radio tell me about this? I don't know. Why did no one else on the radio tell you about this? See, it pays to listen to Student of the Gun, doesn't it? We save you guys so much money. I should.
We actually do.
We do. Between our discounts and our insider trading information and all that, we can save you guys crazy about some money. All right, if you're a new listener or recent listener or whatever, close that hole under your nose, open up both of your ears, and listen louder.
Attention, new listeners. We produce a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life.
Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
That's right. Watch, listen, read, shop, all that good stuff. Studentofthegun.com, the largest free training student gun university in America, in the world. All right, we've got a problem, but I have a solution. So first, we're going to talk about the problem, and this is very real. And I wonder how many people have thought about this. All right, as adults, we view the world through our adult eyes. And we either like or don't like things. We either do or do not do things or whatever. But what about the kids? And what is going on with our children? Now, I don't know how old you guys are. I know how old I am. But the fact of the matter is they call your youth years, or they call them the formative years for a reason. Okay? They call the years of your youth the formative years, because that is when you form opinions about things. That is when you form habits. That's when you decide how you're going to look at the world around you during your formative years. And that's not 20 through 30. That's 10 through 18. Okay? Those are your formative years. That is when you learn how the world either is or is supposed to be, or you think it is, or whatever. Doesn't matter if it's a misconception. You know, if you learn something, if you're taught something at age 9, 10, 11, you assume that that is the way the world is and that is the truth. And I know you guys don't like me quoting Adolf Hitler, but the fact of the matter is Adolf Hitler knew that if you own the youth, you own the future. All right? That is why the National Socialist German Workers' Party, when they took control of the country of Germany, instituted a youth program, a huge nationwide youth organization and movement, because they understood that if you could control, I believe the quote is, "Give me a child until he is 12 and I will give you a Nazi for the rest of his life." I believe that is the quote. Because they understood if you could get to these kids when they were in elementary school, then you could basically program them. You could convince them that the world was a certain way, and that is the way they would view the world pretty much the rest of their lives, because those are the formative years. You say, okay, we don't live in Nazi Germany, Paul, so who cares? I want you to think about what's been going on in the United States of America. There was a story. It was related to me by a friend, and this is several years ago. How do you guys remember the great incandescent light bulb scare during Comrade Barry's administration?
I have no idea what that was.
If we don't change light bulbs, yeah, we gotta change light bulbs. You know, we've been using incandescent screw-in light bulbs for what, 50 years, 100 years. When did Edison invent them, right? And everything was fine until the reign of Comrade Barry Soetoro. And then all of a sudden, screw in incandescent light bulbs, we're going to destroy the planet. They're wasting energy, and we're running out of energy. I like how we're running out of energy, like there's a pile of it somewhere, and it's just going down and going down and going down.
We don't quite understand how to turn sunlight into energy yet. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, do you know that fossil fuels are all replenishing? You understand that, right?
No.
Yeah.
Not true.
Anyway, but this story was related to me by a mom. And this goes back to the great incandescent light bulb scare. And the mom said to me, she goes, that she picked her kid up from school, and the kid was like, "Do we have old light bulbs in our house? Or are we using old light bulbs?" And she's like, "Well, when they get old, they stop working, and we throw those away and we put new ones in." What? You know, this kid's like 8, right? But he wants to know if they have old light bulbs in their house. And she's like, why? Why do you ask if we have old light bulbs? Because my teacher said if we're using old light bulbs, that's wasting energy and that's going to destroy the planet. What? Yeah. Because my teacher said that if your parents are using, because, if you buy the new light bulbs that cost twice as much and work half as well, then you can save the planet. Why is an 8-year-old coming home wanting to know why? And people are like, well, Paul, we need to teach our kids about conservation and about recycling and How long did it take the Captain Planet, let's talk about recycling? How long did that take for it to turn into the, if your parents aren't green, then they're evil and they're destroying the planet? How long did it take before they were teaching 9 and 10-year-olds that if we don't change, that the world's going to end? Right? Al Gore predicted by the year. What did he say? Zach might actually know this. By 2003 or something like that, the global ice caps are going to be melted. Or
2005, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like if we don't change our ways, then the global ice caps and New York will be under 20 feet of water. And I say, amen, brother. Fire up the barbecue grill. If I thought my barbecue grill could put New York under 20 feet of water, I'd burn that son of a gun all day, every day. But it doesn't work like that. Did you ever put an ice cube in a glass of water? Did anybody here ever do that?
Nope, never done it.
And then the ice melts and it's no longer ice, and it overflows all over under the table. Because when the ice melts, it creates a greater volume and the water goes everywhere, right? You're like, no, it doesn't. What are you talking about? King Solomon pointed out how the rivers continuously run to the sea, and yet the sea is never full. Shouldn't we stop the rivers? Because if we don't stop the rivers, the ocean's going to fill up, man, and then it'll be too high. So we need to build dams on all these rivers and stop the water from the Mississippi from flowing. What? No, it doesn't work like that. But my point is this. For 30 years, probably at least 20, we've had elementary school kids, not just, let's learn how to recycle, but if we don't stop blank, and of course it changes every 5 years, because it used to be what? It used to be global warming. Well, actually, when I was in elementary school, they were starting on with the coming ice age.
Oh, really?
You can find old Newsweeks and Time magazines and stuff. Like in 78, 79, if we didn't change, there was a second ice age coming, right, to the world. And the whole world was going to be covered in ice and snow if we didn't change our ways. So then that didn't happen. They're like, I don't know. So they come along, they're like, no, global warming. We don't change our ways. The earth, what did Al Gore say? The earth has a fever. Because over the last 25 years, the temperature is average 0.05 hotter. Okay. So, well, then a lot of smart people pointed out, they're like, hey, Jack, you were predicting all this global warming and the melting of the ice caps and all that stuff, and none of it happened. Well, it's climate change. That's what we're worried about now is climate change. Like smart people are like, yeah, but climate changes all the time. What are you talking about? No. This climate change everyone's going to die. And so in our elementary schools now, we have our 9 and 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds that are terrified that if their parents don't stop using whatever. I'm old enough to remember when the push was hairspray. Your mothers have to stop using hairspray because it's destroying the ozone layer. And if you destroy the ozone layer, it's causing global warming, and we're all going to die. Tell your mother to stop using Aquanet, right? So we all had to stop. We had to stop using that. We had to stop. save the planet, right? And then it was plastic bags. We had to stop using plastic bags because it's filling up the landfills, and we're running out of space on planet Earth for garbage and whatever. So we're like, okay, what do we want to do? Well, bring in your own bags. Here's what I love. Jared, have you gone to a Whole Foods lately?
No.
Have you gone to a Harmon's lately?
Yes.
Are you allowed to bring in your own bags?
Oh, no.
No, because they spread the Rona.
Yeah.
Supposedly. But here's the thing. When I was a kid, we had paper bags, right? There was no plastic bags. You went to the grocery store, you got paper sacks, right? That's what everyone did. And then the hippies are like, oh, you need trees to make paper, and they're killing trees. You can grow more, right? No, you can't. There's only so many trees on the planet, and when those trees, then they're gone, there won't be any more. Okay, so what did we do? In order to save the trees, we instituted plastic bags. Well, now plastic bags are made out of oil, and they live for 1,000 years, and the landfills the size of Mount Rushmore or Mount Everest, and we can't get rid of them. We're like, okay, we'll start carrying our own bags, and then we start carrying our own bags, and they're like, stop! Your own bags are spreading bacteria and germs. You're bringing germs from your house into the store with your dirty, nasty freaking bags. What are we supposed to do now? Like Sebastian Maniscalco, he's like, am I supposed to load it all up in my arms and like pull my shirt out? I got 93 items here. How do you want me to carry these? You say, Paul, what's your point? I'm like, there's always this thing to be afraid of.
Because fear sells.
We're afraid of paper bags. Can't have paper bags. Afraid of plastic bags. Can't have plastic bags. Now we got the reusable ones. Okay, use the reusable ones. What does the average 11-year-old now tell their parents to do? I love when 11-year-olds come home from school and they're like, my teacher said that you're all morons and I should tell you to stop doing that.
It's a good question.
So then we're like, okay, well, we're scaring the kids with the global warming stuff, but that's not enough. We need to have lockdowns and active shooter drills. Jared, how many times have we come to these microphones and reported about someone was seen walking down the street with a rifle? And so they locked down all the schools in the city. They're like, well, where is this guy? We don't know. Well, what is he carrying? We don't know. What are you talking about? You're locking down the schools? Oh, better to be safe than sorry, buddy. Safe than sorry to what? All right, let me tell you what. I hate to break your heart, but if you live in a major metropolitan area, there are unconvicted murderers walking around town all day long every day. If you have an unsolved murder in your city, that means the person who did it isn't in jail and they're walking around free. What? You mean there could be a murderer at large? Yes. Welcome to the really real world. So how many, Jared, I found 3. I did a quick internet research. I put umbrella, lockdown, panic, or whatever in a search engine. In a period of like a couple of years, we have to stop carrying umbrellas now.
I remember that we had talked about at least 2 of them.
There was one in San Diego. There was one somewhere else.
I think New York was the other one.
Yeah, there was one by a college campus in like Manhattan. No, was it Massachusetts or something?
It was somewhere in the Northeast, I believe.
I found one story where they locked down 4 school districts because there was a man with a rifle that someone called in and they said they saw walking down the street. And they're like, where is he? What did he do? Was your shots fired? No. But out of precaution. What happens to the psyche of a child every time you hit the alarm switch and lock them down? Nothing. There actually is no real threat to them, but they don't see that. All they know is to be scared. Right? So we're terrifying our children with global warming, climate change. If your parents don't change if your parents are driving a large SUV, they hate the planet. Okay. I saw something yesterday that really disturbed me. We've got the lockdowns. We have the active shooter drills. We have this, the fear of this, the world's going to end if my parents don't stop using hairspray or whatever. And that's pretty good. I mean, you're teaching them to be really scared. But now, 2020 is going to the post office. Okay, we live in basically probably the least coronavirus this area of the world, right? I live in a county roughly the size of the state of Connecticut, and there's been 10 cases total and 0 deaths. So pretty much nothing, right? Go to the post office. I'm walking in. There's never been a mask order here, they haven't even said to do it, right? But the media has, and the news has. So here comes a woman, middle-aged woman, with her 2 kids. One's probably 12, one's probably 10, 13, whatever, that age, right? And they've all got masks on. Why? There is no Rona where I live. Okay? There's not. There hasn't been. There isn't. And a lot of people out there are like, well, what do you care, Paul? I mean, if people want to wear the mask, they should, wear the mask. It makes them feel better psychologically. It makes them feel better psychologically. We're not talking about adults. We're talking about kids. In these children's formative years, we are teaching them to be afraid. We're teaching them to live in fear. They see the mask, they wear the mask, they're like, oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Where are these people going to be in 20 years? When during all of their formative years, they were taught to constantly be afraid of something. I mean, kids can't even be kids anymore. And that is my great concern with this nation, for the future of this nation, is we're raising a nation of terrified children that live in constant fear. I'm not a psychologist, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I know that's not good. I know that it's not good for society. It's not good for the individual. It's not good for communities. What solution have I offered? You're like, okay, Paul, smart aleck guy. You're like, oh, you point out all these problems. Do you have solutions? Yeah, absolutely, I do. It's called Team Honey Badger, raising fearless kids in a cowardly world. How do you raise kids to be independent? How do you raise them to be mentally strong, physically strong, mentally capable to deal with the problems that they are going to encounter? There's always things in everyone's life, but being afraid is not a solution. Living in constant fear is not a solution. So in the Team Honey Badger book, what we did is we offered lots and lots of solutions to help your kids be fearless in a cowardly world.
I'm looking at a study. Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to
go ahead.
I want to jump on to something you said just a second ago. We were talking about the masks and whatnot. This is published on a .gov site on April 22nd, 2015. The objective of this is to study. The aim of this study was to compare the efficacy of cloth masks to medical masks in hospital healthcare workers. Okay, and this is directly related to flu-like viruses. Conclusions: this study is the first RCT of cloth masks, and results caution against the use of cloth masks. It's an important finding to inform occupational health and safety. Moisture retention, reuse of cloth masks, and poor filtration may result in increased risk of infection. Further research is needed to inform the widespread use of cloth masks globally. However, a precautionary measure, cloth masks should not be recommended for healthcare workers, particularly in high-risk situations. and guidelines need to be updated. And it says here, penetration of cloth masks by particles was almost 97%, and medical masks 44%. This is published on a .gov site, so it was an actual sanctioned research project, April 22nd, 2015. So why now in 2020 are cloth masks being pushed? And I haven't seen an updated study, so it was a legitimate question. Why are these cloth masks being pushed? If this study says, hey, the particles penetrate these cloth masks 97%, that's insane. That's crazy high.
But isn't it better to do something? Isn't it better to destroy the psychological well-being of our children and cause them to live in constant fear than to risk the Rona?
Yes,
it's better to destroy the economy, to create a generation of frightened children. That's what's better. That's what's good for the country. Is it? Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I get up every day, because I can't let this go. I can't just let this go. And the people are like, well, what do you care? Just let people wear masks. Do you not know what you're doing to your children? Do you really not understand what you're doing to your children? Forget about you. But what are you doing to your children? There's a rental cabin near us where I live. It's beautiful. And in the summertime, there's these really nice cabins, and people rent them, and they come here from other states and whatever, and they enjoy the beauty that is rural Wyoming. I drove by this really nice log cabin. It's got a cool porch, a covered porch, and the wooden chairs on the front. I drove by. There's people. The van has California plates in the driveway, sitting on the porch outside with Mother Fletchin masks on their faces. Yeah. Outside, outdoors. What are you doing? People are like, what do you care, Paul? I don't. But they were doing it to their children. They had elementary school children. I saw them, and they're sitting there with masks on. I'm like, you're terrorizing these children. That's child abuse. Sorry, it is. It's psychological terrorism. And I say, nay. I say, knock it off. If somebody in your world can be reached, get them the Team Honey Badger book. You won't regret it. Thank you for watching.
Yep. The study that I just read was the U.S. National Library of Medicine National Institutes of Health. So,
what do they know?
And I'm dropping a link into the show notes for you guys so that we can all be better informed.
There you go. At least operate based on fact, not feelings.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'm like, if you know this, you've read this, you understand this, and as an adult you still want to wear a mask, I don't really care. What annoys me is the fact that people in a day and age of so much information being just bullcrap being shared on social media, they don't do the due diligence of research to learn about this stuff, and they just kind of like, oh, well, this sounds like it. My feelings say this will work, so let me do that.
And what's worse is
that's the issue.
When I shame you,
is people won't think. It's the lack of thinking that's long-term detriment to human society.
It's a society. The inability to exercise critical thought.
Yeah.
I mean, why we teach children math? So they can problem solve. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go out and give your nation a birthday gift. Figure out what it is and do it. We're going to be back on Wednesday. We've got good news for you. Yes, we've got a Brownells bullet points for you, and we have, of course, a Student of the Gun homeroom brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters. All that and more coming up. Be here or be square. There you go. It doesn't rhyme, but whatever. Remember, you're a beginner once.
Be a student for life.
Thank you, Zach.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.